Hey everybody, it's Hannes Saber from HR Images. In today's video, I will be reviewing the brand new Sony 100mm f2.8 macro G Master lens. So stay tuned. I had the opportunity in receiving this lens for the weekend, so I've only had it for a very short time, so I'm doing this more of as a first impression review. This is a lens that I will be looking to add into my kit, build quality, and I'll show you some image samples as well as some video samples. Well, we'll get started. Now, like the 90mm, it's got similar design structure like the 90mm. The only difference is the 90mm is a smaller lens, so it's about that much difference roughly. I don't have the 90mm anymore, but I had a chance to sort of kind of compare as well, a quick comparison before I had sent the 90mm back. That is just like roughly the design size. So with the 100mm, it has a 67mm filter thread, and it's got that ring push up and down. Here you are with the manual focus, down for autofocus. So just exactly like the 90mm. The only difference is that you've got the aperture ring added on the 100mm where the 90mm didn't. 90mm is a G series lens, but this is a G Master. So like all G Master, they are going for that signature look, which is the aperture ring. So you got your custom buttons here. You've got the full-time DMF, you got the minimum focus, and you got the optical stabilization, steady shot as well. You've got your AF manual switch, and you've got the two focus buttons on the G Master. So basically, like all the other G Masters. So one major difference between the 100mm and 90mm is that the 100mm has a maximum of 1.4 times magnification, whereas the 90mm macro is a 1:1 macro ratio. This is a 1.4 to 1 macro ratio. So you're getting additional reach compared to what you were doing at a 90mm. And I'll be showing you like some images and as well, so you can just see the sample images that this can produce. One other advantage this has is that you are able to mount a 1.4 times teleconverter or the 2 times teleconverter on the lens, giving you a maximum of 2.8 times magnification. So you can get actually a lot closer with the teleconverters. Now, I don't have a teleconverter to actually test this, but I've seen a lot of the image samples that other reviewers had produced, and you can be able to mount that in and get that little extra reach with this lens. So this is another added bonus. So you can get up to maximum of 2.8 times magnification. Without the converter, it's a 1.4 times magnification. As you can see from some of the images I've shown, the 1.4 times magnification actually gets you very close to the subjects, giving you a whole different look in your macro shots. One major improvement from the 100mm to the 90mm is the autofocus, and being able to pair this with the Sony a1 II using insect tracking on the a1 II, you are able to utilize the focusing on this lens like crazy. It's being able to track. So a lot of the shots, especially some of the bees that I'll be showing, they were tracked with the insect tracking using the autofocus on this lens, which gives you a lot precise, and it's very quiet as well. Comparing it to the 90mm, the 90mm macro was a slower focus lens, but it was sharp, that 90mm. This actually retains its sharpness just like the 90mm, so a lot of the images are very sharp with this lens. But the autofocus is actually insane, and it can actually keep up with 120 frames per second on the A9 III as well. So this lens is able to keep up with that fast frames per second. So this lens is sealed for the lens mount, so keeping it robust and durability in all types of conditions. So that's another thing that's been added to this lens. Being able to get very minimum focus, this is at 1.4 times. As you can see with this image of the flower, and you've got the little white little thing that's on top of it, being able to get very close and seeing the detail where you would not be able to see with your eye, and able to capture very close with this. So I've actually been very impressed, especially mixing oil and water, having RGB lights underneath, getting some of these detailed shots of the bubbles. I've just been really blown away with this G Master lens. It is actually, compared to, I've sold the 90mm because I've been waiting for Sony to upgrade the macro lens, and actually seeing this, it is one lens that I definitely want to get. So as you've seen from my past how much I was always into my macro shots, especially with weddings. So this is going to be an added lens to my kit. Another thing as well is actually video. So I just managed to take this little quick video of this wasp. You can see how well the insect tracking is tracking the wasp. You can see it's moving around, it's tracking the eye of the insect as well, not losing its focus. I'm holding it handheld, but just wanted to show you how this will, you can see the wasp, the wings flapping, just being able to keep up with it. This lens will be amazing as well if you do a lot of video work, especially detail work with watches, those jewelries, that type of thing where you need that detail close up for video. This is actually will be an insane lens to actually have in your kit for that. Now, shooting macro, obviously, when you shoot at 2.8, getting very close, you get a very, very, very shallow depth of field where your focus is actually very minimal because of how close you are and that depth of field. So generally, a lot of these macro shots that you're seeing are shot around the f8, f10, around that mark, to be able to get that sharpness. If you are shooting 2.8, wanting that shallow depth of field, that's when you intend to have to use focus stacking, which that's a complete different topic. I have a video, older video where I've done about photo stacking, showing some photo stacking images. I'm using it with the 90mm. So it's basically the same concept with the 100mm, but you'll be able to get that very shallow depth of field. This is retailing at 2,599 Australian. So it is in a higher price bracket due to the G Master, but I'm actually kind of like surprised in terms of the price because a lot of G Master lenses intend to be very higher. For that price, I actually thought it was pretty good for 100mm macro G Master, where I think the 90mm was around the $1,800 Australian mark. So it's not that far off from a G series lens. So with the optical stabilization, steady shot in this lens, having that on, it actually stabilizes the lens very well, especially for very close macro shots, so minimizing macro shake. So a lot of the macros, look, a lot of my macros I tend to use handheld. I don't like to use tripods, especially when you're the insect. Imagine you're waiting for a bee, comes there, you set up your tripod, it flies to a different flower. You gotta pick your tripod, go up to your next flower, and it's back and forth. So I tend to holding steady and just holding the lens very carefully, getting very close. So f8, increasing the ISO to balance, or you can have added lights on it, as you can see from all those images that I have shared. So this is my first impression of the lens. So I'm actually very, very impressed with this lens. It is something I am definitely going to be added into my kit. I've sold my 90mm, so this is going to be that big replacement for it. And having that 1.4 times magnification is insane. And now considering again adding that 1.4 times teleconverter just to get that 2.8 times minimum focus distance. Magnification. Minimum focus distance actually in this is a 0.26 meters. So it actually gets very close at the 1.4 times. Hope you guys did enjoy this quick first impression review on this lens. If you did, please give it a like, share and subscribe to this channel. Until then guys, enjoy and we'll catch you for next reviews. See ya.